Oh
It
my
left my mind.
gosh, it has such a pretty color. Oh my goodness, it looks like cotton candy. That looks like a hard candy, like a Jolly Rancher.
I can't believe it's untreated. That's remarkable. So I heard that we're doing a video on pink gems today.
I heard the same thing.
Kidding.
What's your favorite pink thing that occurs in nature?
Fresh baby skin. No, I'm joking. Pink roses are nice. Pink flowers in general.
Oh, peonies, yes.
Peonies. Isn't that a mountain range?
That's the Pyrenees. I'll read the clue and you can unbox it. I may look nice and sweet, but you'll often find me with the stuff you use in your batteries, like lithium. Ooh. Kunzite. That's a pretty pink gem.
But it left my mind.
Gosh. I love this one. This has been irradiated by man.
By contrast, this is natural, straight out of the ground, Kunzite. Check this out. Look how pink it is from the top. What about now?
Oh, colorless.
How crazy is that?
Very light lilac. So that has really distinct eye visible pleochroism. So kunzite is in the monoclinic crystal system. It's a type of spodumene. And this type of bladed crystal is a very common habit for kunzite. Okay, so what about the lithium
Yeah, let's
aspect?
talk about the clue here. Well, lithium is part of its chemical structure. Kunzite often occurs alongside lithium in these mines where they would go to find the resources for batteries.
It's colored by manganese. It's not that durable.
No, it cleaves really easily. It's a risky move putting it into jewelry.
Stability is a measure of a material's resistance to heat, chemical attack, or light. Kunzite is not super durable from a stability standpoint because it can fade upon prolonged exposure to light. And you don't want this color to fade. That's gorgeous.
Okay,
So you go for the clue.
Okay, I'll do the clue and then you unbox it, all right? I'm from Russia, but don't mistake me for rhodonite. Whoa! That's a hefty sphere.
That is a hefty sphere. It all looks like a massive marble.
Conglomerate.
The first thing I thought of was ruby in zoisite.
Yeah.
But there's something that tells me that I'm wrong.
Is Eudialyte.
So Eudialyte gets its name, like many minerals, from Greek, Eudialytos. And it means easily dissolved or easily decomposed because it's vulnerable to many types of acids.
So Eudialyte is a complex silicate mineral. It often has traces of cerium, uranium, zirconium, yttrium. It has all of these different elements in it.
Right. Because of that, geologists often use Eudialyte as a sort of geochronometer to sort of measure the age of the surrounding rock that it's found in.
Ooh, well-known mineral with a delicious name. I'm thinking of food, delicious food.
Pink food, cotton candy,
Raspberry.
ahi tuna.
Oh, tuna, that does sound good. I see some dodecahedrons, which indicates to me that that is garnet.
So it's not ahi tuna garnet.
No.
It's raspberry garnet.
Garnet is in the cubic crystal system, but it often forms in a dodecahedral habit. That's a 12-sided crystal. And honestly, some of those may be icosatetrahedral, which is 24-sided.
So once again, the color is due to manganese. This time it's trivalent manganese.
So manganese 3+ instead of 2+. The garnet group is a big group. This particular type of garnet is a grossular garnet, which actually can come in a lot of different colors.
I have another etymology fun fact. Grossular comes from the word gooseberry. So we got raspberry, gooseberry, garnet here. All right.
Okay, you go for it.
Rarer than my siblings, but often much bigger. Go
Wait,
ahead and
do we
open
have
it.
guesses?
I have a guess.
Okay. Tell me what your guess is, and then I'll...
That's a good guess.
Oh,
I
he
feel
was right.
confident.
He was right.
Prove
it's
that I
Morganite.
said the right thing. The siblings that I'm thinking of are the beryl family. The siblings aquamarine, emerald. This is the pink variety of beryl. This is Morganite.
Can we guess what colors Morganite?
Is it manganese?
Ding, ding, ding. Actually, this is interesting. Manganese 2+ colors Morganite. Mm-hmm. Manganese 3+ color's red beryl. Different valence states cause different colors. So this is from the White Queen mine in San Diego, California. Blue tourmaline is actually another famous gem that comes from that mine.
Most of the largest morganites come out of Brazil, and they can weigh upwards of 20 pounds. Clue for you, box for me?
I can lead you to silver if you don't get lost in my luster. Oh my gosh. You know what? This is erythrite. It's often used as an indicator material for prospectors looking for things like cobalt and silver.
Yeah, erythrite is one of those, its origin story kind of sounds like an accident because it forms after weathering and oxidation as like a crust on cobalt-rich materials.
Very cool.
Its formations are very slender and delicate. It's actually surprisingly prismatic and weirdly gemmy in a way if you look at some of the spots.
I actually think that color is really gorgeous. That has just like a really deep, rich,
Yeah, check. I mean, those
pinkish
are
red
straight
color.
up teeth. And
I know, it actually is kind of mean looking.
violent, but really tiny.
So many clues.
Ancient Egyptians believe I got my color by passing through a rainbow.
Oh. Oh.
Incorrect.
It's one of my favorite gem families.
Ah, the trash can.
The trash can.
The trash family.
That is something that is commonly said about tourmaline. It's like the trash can of minerals.
It's an endearing term.
It is endearing.
It's meant with
you
love.
Want to tell them why?
Because it's incredibly chemically complex.
Often tourmaline is formed as kind of the last stages of crystal development during certain geologic activities. It often takes the leftovers to form. You get really complex, really interesting, different colors and formations. I love it. I think it's a super fun gem.
I like tourmaline because I feel confident when I'm identifying it. It's usually got striations that run along the length of the crystals. I mean, bunches and bunches and bunches of parallel lines that run the length. And then it's also usually kind of, I think of it as a rounded triangle. Each of the sides kind of bow outward. They're a little concave.
You can see that well in
Yeah, exactly.
in that one. The pinkish red variety is called rubellite. It shockingly is also colored by manganese.
Well, this one's a little heavy.
Named after a goblin.
You know any famous goblins? I know we work with a couple of them. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, big heavy.
Oh my goodness, it looks like cotton candy. Rock candy. It's like kind of botryoidal looking,
Yeah.
and it looks really sugary. I would love to know what this is.
It is Cobaltocalcite.
There's a lot to know about gemology. You know, we've talked a lot about etymology, we've talked about science and history. So we have a whole team of people helping with, learning about these gemstones. And we have just been informed that the element cobalt was named after a mythical creature.
The kobold. Listen, I fought like a half dozen kobolds on Tuesday in D&D, so I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so
Right.
what's the significance about
Well, so
goblin.
the conditions in the mine were very noxious and fumy, and so they did not want to name it after anything pleasant. So they named cobalt after the kobolds, cave-dwelling creatures that are equally nasty.
So calcite is a very common mineral, and you can have pink calcite that is colored by manganese, or pink calcite that's colored by cobalt. Cobalt
yeah.
colors a lot of gems blue and green, so it's pretty cool to see the pink.
No, yeah, I've definitely never seen a pink stone colored by cobalt before.
Or
Who
little
read
box.
the last clue?
I don't know, but I'm
gotta
the
keep
lady,
the
so I'll do
sequence.
it. Don't mistake me for bubblegum or
calcite.
calcite.
I don't know how you could mistake it for both. I think it'd be a one or the other kind of situation.
Ooh.
Oh, I could see how you would mistake this for gum, especially the kind that you find on the underside of a railing.
No, can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
When I was young, we actually were at a restaurant and there was a tornado warning. And so everyone had to get underneath the tables. And then when we emerged from the tables, I was chewing gum and my mom was like, "Where did you get that?" Under the table. I really liked gum when I was young.
Wow.
Don't judge me.
No,
Okay.
it's too late for that.
It totally does look like something stuck
It's
on the
definitely,
underside.
no,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's super pink, and then it also has this kind of really super fine crystals, but overall, like a very big wavy kind of undulating.
Yeah.
This is out of, well, wild guess here, but I'm thinking this is Cobaltoan Dolomite.
This is from Namibia, which is where a lot of gems are from.
Sumeb.
Sumeb, yes. So dolomite is an anhydrous carbonate material, and this is Cobalto Dolomite, meaning it got its color from cobalt.
So dolomite is pretty common throughout the world. It's very similar to calcite in a lot of ways, but this particular variety of dolomite is pretty much exclusive to only 5 countries in the world. And Sumeb in Namibia is famous for this shocking pink color. Like emerald and ruby, my color is due to chromium, but I don't look anything like them.
Ooh.
That's a great clue.
Spinel. Pink spinel. That's chromium. Ooh, I'm right.
Ooh,
I know that.
wow.
I know that one. This is actually a very nice gemstone. It's an untreated spinel from Tanzania. That looks like a hard candy, like a Jolly Rancher or something. Like, it has such a pretty color.
Interestingly enough, this variety of spinel, Mahenge spinel, was discovered in Tanzania only in about 2007.
So this type of color became referred to as Mahenge because this color was so popular out of that region, and so a lot of spinel, even if it's not from that region, is called Mahenge spinel.
I mean, I can't believe it's untreated. That's remarkable. Last box, you ready?
I may be tiny, but you can't overlook me.
I can't help but feel like we're overlooking a heavy hitter in the gem industry.
I'm thinking so. Let's say what we think it is on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Diamond. Oh my gosh, it's tiny.
This is a pink diamond.
The mine that most of the world's pink diamonds have come from, the Argyle mine in Australia, closed in 2020. And so value and prices for pink diamonds has skyrocketed. So this is maybe 0.10 carats. Even a pink diamond of this size can actually be surprisingly valuable just because of the rarity. Pink diamond gets its color by a process known as plastic deformation. It's essentially a deforming of the crystal structure, which affects how light interacts with different parts of the interior of the gem, and it creates this pink color.
That actually differs from how other diamonds get their color. They get their color from impurities and trace elements like boron for blue diamonds. Yellow diamonds get their color from
Nitrogen.
nitrogen. There are services that will allow you to form a diamond out of the ashes of your loved ones because it's mostly carbon, right? And most of those diamonds turn out blue because of boron.
Oh, that is a morbid but interesting fact.
Guys, it's time to take a closer look. I have chosen the Erythrite because I think it really needs a closer look in order to properly appreciate the structure of it and the color of it and the diversity of the crystal shapes.
I'm going to choose the Mahenge Spinel. I love that color. It's so unique. It's natural, which is amazing.
It's a good pick.
Take a closer look.
That's all we had time for as far as pink gemstones for today. But let us know if you think we missed out on any, and we'll try and feature them in a future video.
And if you want to learn more, you can go to our website, gemstones.com, where there are a ton of articles about all of these gemstones and more. So if you want to learn more, head there.
And of course, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on our future videos.
Thanks for watching.